Alright everyone, Cowboy Trades here, welcome back to the channel for another update on Kadena. So there's a few charts and things I want to run through in today's video. We'll be updating our short trade, which is currently in 150% profit, but while our short trade is exploding in the profit, the charts are actually starting to form this regular bullish divergence. Could a huge bounce be coming for Kadena very soon? We'll discuss this in today's video. First of all, let's discuss what's happening while we are lollygagging around these lows. So we've previously shown you this fractal over on the channel, how when Kadena previously had these bear market lows, it formed a head and shoulders, flipped the previous bear market lows as resistance, and then nuked back down to the downside. Obviously, right now, we had that nuke to the downside, we formed new lows, we made another macro head and shoulders, which we warned you about on the channel. And since then, we've broken down into new bear market lows where once again, just like over here, where we had this head and shoulders and we spent some time retesting the previous bear market lows, I think this is what is happening right now. So, you know, in terms of what's happening in the macro, especially for the next couple of weeks, we are getting that continuation down from the weekly head and shoulders. The weekly Heikenashis are absolutely bleeding out right now. Monthly Heikenashis are bleeding out, and they haven't stopped bleeding out throughout pretty much the entirety of this bear market. So we're obviously still waiting for that change in macro trend to switch macro bullish. In the higher time frames though, I still think we're coming down to these bearish price targets. But with that being said, while in the next few weeks I do expect continuation, we are currently forming this regular bullish divergence. This happens when you form lows. So you can see over here, these were the 69 or was it no 79-cent lows for Kadena. We formed these bear market lows. We had a major bounce back up to the upside, and then obviously we've broken back down and made lower lows. So over here you've got lows, you've got lower lows, and in the oscillator you've got lows and higher lows. What this simply is bullish divergence, regular bullish divergence to be specific. Now this is on the weekly time frame, and we've only got 2 touch points, so this can take quite some time to play out. In fact, over on Bitcoin, if I pull up one of our divergence charts, I will show you over on the weekly time frame, we were witnessing a regular bearish divergence play out for a very long time. You can see this is actually drawn over on the daily time frame. If I pull up the oscillator, the MFI, what you can see is right here, we had numerous touch points over here. We had numerous touch points, numerous touch points, numerous touch points, numerous touch points on this bearish divergence. And this took a very long time to play out before we finally started to nuke back down to the downside. So especially as this is on the weekly time frame for Kadena, I wouldn't get so excited right now. What my personal prediction is for us to, you know, be retesting these bear market lows for the next week or so, get a final boot back down to the downside and potentially retest this trend line from a slightly lower valuation, and at which point we may see something like this play out where we do get a significant bounce over in the price action. Now, at what specific, very specific price target do I think we're going to bounce from? Well, it's actually the take profit on our short trade, and there's a very specific reason for this. There is a major cluster of liquidity, untapped liquidity, down here at 69 cents exactly for Kadena. Now, do bear in mind over on this Bittrex chart, the price does tend to move very differently than what is happening on other exchanges. So you can see there was this massive wick down to 32 cents. That never happened on any other exchanges. Over on Bittrex here, you can see we've actually had a 10% drop today, whereas on the rest of the exchanges, Kadena is pretty much neutral, not doing anything today. So with that being said, kind of just ignore the discrepancies. There is obviously no data traded within these regions. So when we are looking at this chart, we're simply just looking at this to look at what's happening with the volume in the market right now, with these volume profiles on the left side of the screen. This is all we use the chart for. We don't use it for TA. We're just looking at the volume profiles. If you draw this on any other chart, it's the exact same. But nonetheless, when you are looking at the clusters of volume in the market, 69 cents, there is major support. So I think it's very likely for us to continue grinding down on this divergence line, getting a final touch point around about 69 to 70 cents, and then having a big bounce. Potentially, when can we get that bounce for Kadena? Well, as we discussed in our most recent video, I think it was actually 2 videos ago, we talked about how Kadena was likely, according to this fractal, to experience another 42 days worth of pain. Now, since we posted this video, We obviously made a new one because we did make new bear market lows just like we predicted. But you might be interested to know, following Monday's opening in the following week, we only have another potential 28 days worth of pain. What we're looking at here is we're looking at what happens when the two moving averages on the stochastic RSI come down and hit this 0 line. Now, typically the stochastic RSI trends between 100, 0, 100, 0, 100, 0. And when it comes down to this 0 line, especially for Kadena, you can see we have these long drawn out consolidations, lots of consolidation, and with this, on average, you can see we break down for 42 days after the stochastic bottoms, 42 days worth of continuation. We bottom here, 42 days, or sorry, this is 56 days worth of continuation. Over here we bottom, 42 days worth of continuation. This is why we've been predicting on the channel for the past 2 weeks. We're going to continue breaking down for the next 42 days. Once again, following the opening on Monday, we've only got about another 28 days, and at least from today, about another 30 days worth of bearish continuation to the downside is what I'm currently expecting for Kadena. This is why I don't think the regular bearish divergence on the weekly is likely to play out right now. I don't even think we're going to have that big of a bounce. I think something like this is going to take place while we're retesting the previous lows. Once again, I think we're pretty much range bound while we're deciding what to do. I think we're going to chop sideways, break down, retest 69 cent before having a bounce back in the markets. Now, we'll obviously pivot to short-term bullish at that point. You can obviously see, if we clear up this chart, what happens when the stochastic RSI gets ready for a bounce over on KDA. You can see once it was ready to turn up here, once it was ready to start grinding up round about here, once it was ready to start grinding up round about here, even though this was a small bounce, this was about 30% bounce to the upside. Over here, this was about a 60% bounce to the upside. Over here, this was about a 65% bounce to the upside. So once again, I think we've got a little bit more pain for the next coming weeks before potentially witnessing a significantly large bounce. Where do I think we're going to bounce up to? Well, let's see where we bottom first. I think it's likely that the bull market support bands continue moving down, and then potentially we could have another reversion into the mean. Maybe it's the reversion into the short-term moving average on the EMA ribbons, which also correlates to pretty much both of the bull market support bands right now. Maybe we come down to 69 cent, maybe we pump back up to 92 cent, and then we'll enter a new short position in the market. At least as of right now, there's more room for continuation to come down for Kadena, but a bounce is definitely looming in the next month, in my opinion. Of course, what's happening for the next few weeks or so, I think we get more continuation. KDA BTC, every single week apart from this week, has been breaking down into new bear market lows, and we're showing major weakness right now. I still do expect Kadena against Bitcoin is likely to drop about another 28% before another bounce, 26.5% to the downside. That was the last prediction, 28.5%. So still a little bit of room to move to the downside against its Bitcoin pair. So what am I going to be doing with my KDA trade? Well, I'm not going to be doing anything. If we come over to the daily time frame, look at the EMA ribbons, my take profit, my stop loss is still up here around about 89.6 cent, just below the long-term moving average. I don't think we're going to see a significant bounce from here because, previously this is normally where we're retesting the bear market lows before breaking back down. Nonetheless, we do have our stop loss at a healthy position. If we do pump up to the upside and liquidate, that would mean that, Kadena's moving up about 18.5%. I don't see that happening right now. I think it's much more likely, as we've been predicting on the channel, that we're going to get that continuation down to our 69 cent take profit before having a major bounce. And this is when we'll start to see, this 42 days worth of pain and this weekly bullish divergence really come into effect after that has fully completed. So for my trade, I'm still sitting peachy. Obviously, once again, remember our stop loss is all the way down here. We have already incorporated this stop loss at a 20% decrease from our entry on our 5x leverage trade. This is of course meaning worst comes to worst, if the markets reverse, we've already doubled our money with a 2x return on this trade. So once again, congratulations to all the cowboys. We are still absolutely majorly in profit right now. The trade is, or the price action is down more than 30%. Using a 5x leverage, we're in just over 150% profit right now. Sitting peachy, expecting for us to come down to 69 cent to this major area of liquidity before we witness that next bounce for KDA. For today, my friends, that's all I've got. I still believe we've got about another 30 days worth of pain before Kadena is very likely to see a monumental bounce. When I do start to see signs of a bounce coming, such as, us coming back down to this trend line for a strong touch point, also when I start to see the stochastic RSI kind of consolidate and begin to curl up, we will be pivoting short-term bullish. Of course, this doesn't change our thoughts on the macro bear market, but nonetheless, we of course want to pivot to short-term bullish when we do see these signs develop that a bounce is soon to come for the markets. For right now, I think a little bit more chop and pain for the next few weeks before another bounce, and then potentially we can start looking at our more macro bear market price targets, like this massive area of liquidity around about 50 cent, around about 32 cent, and potentially as low as 22 cent, where there's a huge cluster of liquidity. Let's take things one price target at a time. You know me, I don't like to get ahead of ourselves. I don't like to start predicting 5 price targets ahead of time. Really, the most bearish price target I've got my eyes on before we have a bounce is 50 cent. I don't potentially think that we're going to come as low as 50 cent before we're going to have a bounce. I've really got my eyes on 69 cent for new lows at this moment in time. For today, my friends, that's all I've got. If you do enjoy my content, if you are enjoying this trade, if you are in it with me and you are making major profit, let me know in the comment section down below. If you do enjoy my content, help me get these videos trending by leaving a like and a comment. If you want to further support the channel, feel free to click the join button on YouTube and become a member today. Follow me over on Twitter at 618_cowboy. That's all I've got for today, my friends. It's been your boy Cowboy Trades. I'm out. Peace.